Subscribe now and never watch alone.
The Whisper Below Blackwood House. Part 1, the call from room 307. Rain hammered against the windshield as Ethan Cole drove through the empty highway leading toward Black Hollow County. The storm was so violent that the road ahead disappeared every few seconds beneath silver sheets of water. His radio crackled with static. Every station sounded broken. Ethan tightened his grip on the steering wheel and checked the GPS again. Blackwood House, 7 miles. He hated this assignment already. 3 days earlier, Ethan had been sitting inside the cramped office of Nightline Paranormal, a struggling online channel that specialized in documenting haunted locations. The channel once had millions of views, but lately the audience had disappeared. People don't scare easily anymore, his producer Marcus had said, while smoking beside the office window. We need something real. Then Marcus handed him a dusty folder. Blackwood House, a mansion abandoned since 1987. 12 disappearances, 4 confirmed deaths, no survivor interviews, and one final note written in red ink. If you hear whispering under the floorboards, do not answer. At first Ethan laughed. Then he saw the police photos. The bodies had all been found with their mouths sewn shut. Now, driving alone through a dying forest during a thunderstorm, the assignment no longer felt exciting. It felt wrong. The trees surrounding the road looked twisted and unnatural, bending toward the highway like giant black arms. The deeper Ethan drove into Black Hollow County, the quieter the world became. No cars, no lights, no signs of life. Only rain and static. The GPS suddenly froze, the screen flickered. Then a voice whispered through the speakers, "Don't go there." Ethan slammed the brakes. The car skidded sideways before stopping inches from a broken guardrail. His heart pounded violently. What the hell? The GPS screen returned to normal. Blackwood House, 5 miles. Ethan stared at it for several seconds. Maybe it was interference. Maybe exhaustion. Or maybe Marcus edited some creepy audio into the GPS as a joke. Still, a cold sensation crawled across the back of his neck. He kept driving. 30 minutes later, he arrived at Black Hollow. The town looked dead. Most buildings were abandoned. Storefront windows were boarded shut. Rusted signs swung in the storm wind. Streetlights flickered weakly like dying candles. Even worse, there were no people. Not a single person. Ethan parked beside an old gas station and stepped outside. The air smelled rotten, not like rain, like something decaying underground. He grabbed his camera bag from the trunk and headed toward the gas station, convenience store. A small bell rang as he pushed open the door. Inside, dim yellow lights buzzed overhead. An old woman sat behind the counter reading a newspaper. She looked at Ethan slowly, then at the camera equipment. Her expression changed instantly. "You're going there." It wasn't a question. Ethan forced a smile. "Blackwood House?" The woman folded her newspaper carefully. "You should leave. I'm just filming for a documentary." "No." Her voice became sharper. "You should leave this town." Thunder shook the windows. Ethan glanced around the empty store. "What happened here?" The woman stayed silent. Then she leaned forward slightly. "Have you ever heard someone whisper your name while you were completely alone?" Ethan hesitated. "No." "You will." A deep chill moved through the room. The old woman reached beneath the counter and placed a small silver crucifix in front of him. "Take it. I'm not religious." "You will be." Ethan almost laughed, but something in her eyes stopped him. Pure fear, not the dramatic kind. Real fear, the kind people carry after surviving something terrible. He took the crucifix. "Thanks." As Ethan turned to leave, the woman spoke again. "If you hear knocking beneath the floor..." He stopped. "I've run." The bell rang again as he exited the store. Rain exploded across the parking lot. Ethan quickly returned to the car and checked the address. Blackwood House, located beyond the northern woods, near Hollow Lake. Estimated arrival 14 minutes. The road leading toward the mansion was barely visible. Mud swallowed the tires as Ethan drove through the forest. The trees became thicker, darker, almost unnatural. Then he saw it. Blackwood House. The mansion stood on top of a hill overlooking Hollow Lake. It was enormous, 3 stories tall, Victorian architecture, broken windows, collapsed roof sections. Lightning illuminated the structure for a split second. and Ethan froze. Someone was standing in the top window. A woman, motionless, watching him. Another flash of lightning. Gone. Ethan swallowed hard. Great. He grabbed his equipment and stepped into the storm. The mansion door creaked open with barely a push. Dust filled the air. The inside smelled ancient. Rotting wood, mold, and something metallic. Blood. Ethan switched on the camera. Nightline Paranormal. Ethan Cole reporting live from Blackwood House, considered one of the most haunted locations in America. Locals claim at least 12 people disappeared here over the last 40 years. His voice echoed through the darkness. The flashlight beam moved across old furniture covered in white sheets. Portraits hung crooked along the walls. Most of the faces had been scratched out. Ethan climbed deeper into the mansion. The floorboards groaned beneath every step. Rain tapped against broken windows. Then, a sound, knocking, very faint. Below him, Ethan stopped moving. Knock, 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 directly beneath the floor. He stared downward. The old woman's warning echoed inside his mind. If you hear knocking beneath the floor, run. Ethan forced himself to laugh nervously. Probably pipes. But the mansion had no electricity. No water. No plumbing. Knock, 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 this time louder. Something was under the floorboards. Ethan slowly backed away. The knocking stopped instantly. Silence, then a whisper. Ethan. His blood turned cold. The voice came from directly beneath his feet. Help me. Ethan stumbled backward. What the hell? The floor beneath him bulged upward slightly, as if something underneath was pressing against the wood, trying to get out. Then came scratching. Long, slow, human fingernails dragging beneath the floorboards. Ethan turned and hurried toward the staircase. His breathing became uneven. This is not funny, Marcus. No response. Only scratching. He reached the second floor. The hallway stretched into darkness. Several bedroom doors stood partially open. At the very end of the corridor was room 307. The door was closed. Unlike every other room, Ethan approached carefully. The air grew colder with every step. His flashlight flickered. Then the whisper returned. Open it. Ethan spun around. Nobody there. The whisper came again. Open the door. His hand trembled as he reached for the knob. Locked. Suddenly the door unlocked by itself. Click. Ethan stared silently. Then the door slowly creaked open. Inside sat an old bedroom. A bed, a dresser, a cracked mirror, and hundreds of words written across the walls. Don't listen. It lies. It wears their faces. The floor is hungry, most terrifying of all. Every sentence appeared to be written in blood. Ethan raised the camera slowly. This place is insane. The mirror suddenly cracked louder. A new fracture spread across the glass. Then another. Then another. Ethan stepped backward. Something moved behind him. He turned instantly. Nothing. The room was empty. But the camera screen flickered. Ethan looked down. His breath stopped. The camera showed someone standing directly behind him. A tall woman wearing a black dress, her head tilted unnaturally. Hair covering her face. Ethan spun around again. Still nothing. His pulse exploded inside his chest. Slowly, he looked back at the camera screen. The woman was closer, now only inches away, standing behind him. Ethan dropped the camera and ran from the room. The thing under Blackwood. Ethan ran blindly through the underground tunnel as the sound of claws, scraping against stone, echoed behind him. The creature was climbing out of the pit. Fast. Far too fast for something that large. His flashlight beam shook violently across the walls as he sprinted deeper into the darkness. Human handprints covered every surface around him. Some looked decades old, others looked fresh. Wet. A terrible growling sound rumbled behind him. Not animal, not human, something worse. Ethan risked a glance backward. The pit was no longer empty. A massive shape pulled itself over the edge using long black arms that bent in unnatural directions. Its body looked stretched and twisted like melted flesh wrapped around exposed bone. And its face kept changing. Every few seconds it became someone else. A crying woman, an old man, a little girl. Then Ethan's mother. Ethan, it whispered softly. His chest tightened instantly. The thing smiled using his mother's face. You left me there, No! Ethan shouted while running. The tunnel suddenly shook violently. Dust exploded from the ceiling. Somewhere above, inside the mansion, doors slammed repeatedly. Bang, bang, bang. The creature crawled onto the tunnel floor completely. It was enormous, at least 8 feet tall while hunched over. Its skin moved strangely, like thousands of faces were trapped beneath it. All whispering, all suffering. Clara grabbed Ethan's arm. This way. They turned into another tunnel barely wide enough to enter. The air became colder immediately. Water dripped from the ceiling. Behind them, the creature screeched so loudly Ethan nearly dropped the flashlight. The sound didn't belong in the human world. It sounded ancient, like something buried long before civilization existed. What is that thing? Ethan gasped. Clara looked terrified. We called it the Hollow Man. You called it? Her expression darkened. My family opened the pit in 1987. Another screech echoed through the tunnels. Closer now. Ethan stumbled over broken wooden planks as Clara pulled him forward. You need to explain right now. Clara finally stopped near a rusted metal door. Ancient symbols had been carved across it. Most were covered in dried blood. My father believes something lived beneath Hollow Lake, Clara whispered. Something powerful. Thunder rumbled faintly above them. He spent years searching for it. Ancient books, rituals, sacrifices. Ethan stared at her. Sacrifices? Clara closed her eyes briefly. At first it was animals. Then she looked back toward the tunnel behind them. Then people. A freezing chill crawled through Ethan's body. The creature's whispers echoed from the darkness. Clara, you promised. Let us inside. Clara ignored the voices. My father believed the entity could bring people back from death. Ethan immediately thought about the voice inside the pit. His mother's voice. That thing copies dead people. It copies pain, Clara corrected. Regret, grief, guilt. It becomes whatever hurts you most. Something slammed violently against the tunnel walls nearby. The entire passage shook. Dust fell from above. It found us, Clara whispered. She pushed open the rusted metal door. Inside now. They entered a narrow chamber lit by dozens of candles. Ethan froze. The walls were covered with photographs. Missing people. Hundreds of them. Every victim connected to Blackwood House. Some photos looked recent. Very recent. This is impossible, Ethan whispered. Then he noticed something horrifying. One of the photos was Marcus, his producer, pinned beside dozens of missing victims. Ethan stared at it in disbelief. No. Clara looked confused. You know him? He sent me here. Clara's face lost all color. He didn't send you here. Ethan looked at her sharply. What? Clara pointed toward the photograph. He came here 6 months ago. He entered the house alone. The Hollow Man took him. Ethan's breathing became shaky. No, I spoke to him yesterday. Clara stared at him sadly. Then it wasn't Marcus. The candles flickered violently. A whisper came from the darkness behind the walls. Ethan. The voice sounded exactly like Marcus now. You have to help me. I'm trapped down here. Bang. Something hit the outside of the chamber. Door. Hard. The metal bent inward. Slightly. Bang, bang, bang. The Hollow Man was outside. Ethan stepped backward in terror. The voice changed again. This time into a crying child. Please let me in. Clara whispered something in Latin while lighting another candle. The symbols on this room protect us temporarily. Temporarily? Before she could answer, every candle suddenly went out at once. Darkness swallowed the chamber. Then came breathing. Not outside. Inside the room, right beside Ethan. His flashlight flickered on instinctively. The beam revealed a woman standing inches from him. Her jaw hung unnaturally low. Eyes completely black. Skin waterlogged and pale. Ethan screamed. The woman smiled slowly, then whispered, He already touched you. Suddenly she lunged forward. Clara shoved Ethan sideways just before the ghost slammed into the wall behind him. The spirit shrieked violently. Its body twisted across the ceiling like a spider. Ethan scrambled backward across the floor. What the hell is that? One of the trapped souls. Clara shouted. The chamber door exploded inward. Metal flew across the room, and the Hollow Man entered. Its body scraped against the ceiling as it crawled inside. Its face shifted rapidly between victims, Marcus, the old woman from the gas station, a child. Then Ethan's mother again. "Come home, Ethan." The trapped spirits began screaming. The hollow man opened its mouth impossibly wide. Dark smoke poured from inside it. The smoke wrapped around one ghost instantly. The spirit screamed as it was dragged into the creature's body, absorbed, consumed. Ethan watched in horror as another face appeared beneath the monster's skin. Still screaming. "It eats them," he whispered. Clara grabbed him violently. "Run!" They escaped through another tunnel seconds before the chamber collapsed behind them. The hollow man roared so loudly the walls cracked. Ethan and Clara sprinted through knee-deep water. "Why are you helping me?" Ethan shouted. Clara's expression became filled with guilt. "Because this is my fault." Then Ethan noticed something strange ahead. Light. Warm, yellow light. In the middle of the underground darkness, they emerged into a gigantic hidden room beneath the mansion. The room looked untouched by time. An enormous dining table stood at the center. People sat around the table, motionless, at least 20 of them. Men, women, children, all dressed in old-fashioned clothing. None moved. None blinked. "They're dead," Ethan whispered. Clara nodded slowly. "My family." The corpses suddenly turned toward Ethan simultaneously. Then all of them smiled. A little girl seated at the table spoke softly. "You came back." Ethan stared at Clara. "You said they died in 1987. They did." The corpses slowly began standing. Bones cracked loudly beneath rotten skin. The grandfather at the end of the table lifted his head unnaturally far backward. "We waited for you, Clara." Clara pulled Ethan toward another exit. But one corpse suddenly blocked the doorway. A tall man wearing a black suit, half his face missing.
"Father,"
Clara whispered. The corpse smiled. "You abandoned us. You cannot leave." Suddenly, the lights inside the room died. Darkness swallowed everything. Then came chewing sounds. Wet chewing, bones snapping. Ethan switched on the flashlight. The corpses were gone. Then something dropped from the ceiling behind him. A corpse with its neck bent completely backward screamed directly into Ethan's face. He shoved it away. More bodies crawled from the darkness like insects. The lights flickered once, and Ethan saw something standing behind Clara. A shadow. The hollow man. Its many faces shifted rapidly beneath its skin. Then all the faces stopped at once. Every face became Ethan. The creature smiled. "You belong to me now." The candles exploded violently. Darkness swallowed the room again. And somewhere deep beneath Blackwood House, something much bigger woke up.